Good morning, everybody. It's me, Alan, and I'm back with my 2022 WWE Clash in the Castle predictions. However, you're also going to get Worlds Collide predictions because I don't normally do NXT predictions, but I want to do those ones. So, you're getting a 2-for-1 special in this video. So, with that being said, please make sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future videos and streams. Make sure to check out the video I made yesterday, late yesterday, that is, part 5 of the Road to Revenge series, which I apologize for the abrupt end of the video. I was tired and had a brain fart, so that's why that video ended the way it did. But regardless, make sure you use code ANJJ for $5 off on orders of $30 or more at Circle B Diecast. And well, yeah, let's just go ahead and let's jump into this. So we'll start with the Worlds Collide predictions, even though that's on Sunday. 6 matches on the card. And this should be fun. Of course, this is uniting NXT and NXT UK, as NXT UK is going on hiatus to become NXT Europe next year. So I'll start off with Nathan Fraser versus Axiom in a best of 3 falls match. This was something they agreed to on NXT this past week. Both of these guys are former NXT UK competitors. Axiom under the name of A-Kid. So, and Fraser's been taught by Seth Rollins, which has been widely known. So, this match should bang, or this best of 3 match should bang, big time. I'm gonna give Fraser the W. I have no other really rooting interest. All I know is that this match should go really hard and really well. So, I'll take Fraser with the W. Uh, Next we have Kayden Carter and Katana Chance versus Piper, Niven, and Nikki A.S.H for the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. First of all, as I've said before, Kayden and Katana holding the NXT Tag Team titles is fucking awesome, and I don't want them to lose them anytime soon. And I do believe they will retain their titles here on Sunday. But I do want to say, I wonder if Piper and Nikki are going to stay down in NXT for a while. And if that's the case, did Triple H trade them internally for Indy Hartwell and say somebody like an Alba Fire, for example? Indy supposedly is going to get moved up, which makes sense because Loomis is moved up, Gargano's back, Theory's already up on the main roster, all 3 of them are on Raw, and it's only a matter of time before Candice LeRae is back. So it's really just a question of when. But again, Chance and Carter should get the W and retain their titles. Then we have Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Elimination match to unify the NXT Tag Team and NXT UK Tag Team titles between the Creed brothers, who are the NXT champs, Jensen and Briggs for the NXT UK champs, Gallus, which is Mark Coffey and Wolfgang, and Pretty Deadly. Technically half of this is NXT UK, even though the 2 teams that are from NXT UK are not the ones holding the NXT UK titles, which is actually kind of funny. I think in the end, this one's going to come down to either the Creeds or Gallus. And I'm going to take Gallus for the win on the grounds that the Creed brothers get called up to the main roster soon, very soon. So I think Gallus will take the unified tag team titles for themselves, which is neat. Speaking of guys who could possibly move up soon, Carmelo Hayes versus Ricochet for the NXT North American title. Oh boy. Hayes' match was the last one added to the card, and it should be one of the. It could very well possibly steal the show. We know what Ricochet can do. We know what Hayes can do. The question is, who wins? I'm gonna go out on a limb. See, part of me. See, here's the thing, and it goes the same for Bron, and I'll get to him when we get to him versus Bate, which will be shortly. but I don't know when they're gonna get called up. I don't know if they're gonna get called up after Worlds Collide or if it's gonna be sometime later in the future. Um, we don't know for sure if Triple H is gonna do the draft soon. Shut up. We don't know if he's gonna do the draft soon or if he's gonna do it say after WrestleMania next year. That's been the rumor that's been floating around. So I guess we'll see what happens. If he doesn't do the draft now, I think he's just gonna move people around anyway, to kind of get people to fit where he wants them. Um, for right now, I'm gonna say Hayes retains just because Ricochet came out on top at the end of NXT. Because him and Melo was in the main event spot. I'm gonna say Carmelo retains the title here, but I do think he loses it soon. But he's gonna retain it here. So Carmelo for the W. Then we have the big triple threat women's match to unify the NXT and NXT UK Women's Championships, between Mandy Rose, Miku Satomura, and the number one contender for the NXT UK title, Blair Davenport. Um, and it's either Miku or Blair that's winning. I'm sorry, but Mandy needs to fucking lose. The title reign needs to end. Okay, she's already passed Io Shirai. We're closing in on territories that I don't think that Mandy's title reign. I don't think anybody would have thought would get this far. But now that it's getting this far, it's scaring people. Like, it shouldn't. No, that's enough. That's enough. Like, man, don't get me wrong. Mandy's revitalized herself in NXT. I've said as much before, but enough's enough. I don't think Miku wins though. As awesome as it would be for the final boss to win here, I do kind of want to see her get moved up to the main roster. But at the same time, this could all unless she's not up for that just yet. This could be like the last time we see her, not because she'd be getting released, but because she could retire. Now that obviously is a discussion is not a discussion that has been had. But Miko's been doing this for years. If you've watched Wrestling Bios' the Reliving the War series, Miko actually makes an appearance at one point. A young ass Miku Satomura at that. Like, dude, those were about 30 years ago. It's crazy. So, I actually think Blair Davenport's going to be the one walking out with both tag titles. Because Rhea Ripley told her, don't screw it up on NXT. Davenport's not going to screw it up. She's going to get championship gold. And it's going to be to unify both titles. You'll love to see it. So then that brings us to the main event. Bron Breakker versus Tyler Bate to unify the NXT and NXT UK tag team title. Or sorry, not thinking of the tag team titles. The NXT and NXT UK titles. I do wish it was Ilya Dragunov in this spot because Dragunov versus Breakker would be fucking lit. But Bate's holding the title because Dragunov got hurt and they had to do a tournament to figure out who the next champion would be. This is another one where Breakker could get brought up soon. And at the same token, if Bate loses, he could get brought up. All straight to main roster. I mean, let me remind you, the dude was what, 18, 19 when he won the NXT UK title the first time? Not kidding. The dude's still in his 20s. He's got a long career to go. He is. Oh my god, bro. I honestly want to see him on the main roster now. But I also want to see Bron on the main roster. It's really a question of what do you do here? As far as who I think wins, I'm going to give this one to Tyler Bate, and we're going to see what happens. So, Bate, Davenport, Jensen Carter, Gallus, Hayes, Fraser. They win. So, getting back to Clash in the Castle, we also have 6 matches, and this is the interesting thing because normally when it comes to these WWE pay-per-views, there's like 7 or 8 matches. No, this is gonna be 6. So I'm expecting Triple H to kind of do the takeover method where less matches, but every match gets a crap ton of time, and then you're gonna have segments and other things like that sprinkled in between. Because there's gonna be teasers at points in time for other things, especially a certain someone. We'll get to that later. Um, so I think I'll start off with Riddle versus Rollins. This was supposed to happen at SummerSlam, but I think Triple H made the call to move this back to Clash in the Castle to actually give this a little bit of a story to get into because um it was kind of just like thrown together going into SummerSlam just to add to a spot. Um Now they got personal on Raw this past week, including Rollins going after Riddle by mentioning his ex-wife and her taking the kids away, which led to her posting to Twitter more DMs between her and Riddle. Which honestly, bro, like you did that because of Rollins and the Rollins Riddle segment. Like, come on. But that being said, Riddle seems to have more of an edge to him, and I wonder, does Riddle walk away with the win tonight? Today, I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Rollins does win, but it could go either way. So I do have Rollins winning that. So next you have Edge and Rey Mysterio with Dominic versus Judgment Day's Finn Balor and Damian Priest with Rhea Ripley at ringside. And this just screams bollocks to me. Like, is this where Dominic turns? Seriously, is this where he turns and joins Judgment Day? If you don't do it at this point, you're not doing it. I mean, it didn't seem like Vince was gonna do it before. I don't know if Triple H wants to do it because you know what it's going to lead to eventually. It's going to lead to Dominic versus Rey, which Rey has said before he doesn't want to do. He doesn't want to do that. I think until he retires and wants to pass the luchador mask off to his son, whether his son wears it or not. I do think Judgment Day wins here because last time Edge showed up at SummerSlam and helped Mysterios win. He doesn't have the element of surprise here. I think the Judgment Day win, and I'm gonna say it now. Dominic turns on his dad and on Edge. Because remember, Dominic had a little bit of beef with Edge before Edge had been written off. Um or no, it was after he came back. My bad. You know what I meant. Um I'm gonna say Judgment Day wins, Dominic turns. So then we get to Gunther versus Sheamus for the IC title. For the first time, I think since WrestleMania 37, the IC title is being defended on pay per view. And this match is going to slap so hard because Gunther and Sheamus are going to beat the hell out of each other. Legitimately. And I'm going to say it right now. I do believe Gunther retains. Also, I'm looking at you, Butch. You ain't going to be Butch much longer. Pete Dunne's coming back. Just watch SmackDown from last night. Watch his match with Ludwig. I'm telling you, Pete Dunne's coming back soon. And it's going to be fucking glorious. So Gunther retains his IC title. Then we have Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss and Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. In his six-woman tag. Of course, Dakota and Io lost in the finals of the women's tag titles to Raquel and Alia, which I posted about on Twitter the day after. As far as that goes, I don't expect Raquel and Alia to hold the titles for too long. They'll probably defend it at least once or twice, but I do think Raquel will get turned heel eventually because I think she works better as a heel, personally speaking. And more importantly, there's that big looming potential return of Sasha and Naomi on the horizon, supposedly. So, because Dakota and Io lost and Bayley had gotten chased away from the ring by the other three, I do think Damage Control or whatever they're called will win today. Um, and what makes me wonder, Alexa has said before she wants she wants to hold championship again. She wants to be champion again. She has not held a singles title in 4 goddamn years. Like, why do you think I'm doing my series on the side? She needs to hold a fucking title, goddammit. What I'm wondering, does she turn against Bianca and Asuka, attack Bianca, which allows the Bailey and her group to win? Um, should be interesting. So we'll see. So I do think Damage Control gets the win. Then we have Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler for the SmackDown Women's title. Ronda was apparently supposed to be there ringside, probably get involved in the match, but that has since been changed. So it's just going to be Liv and Shayna. Oh boy, this is going to be interesting. Now the cool thing is that Riddle actually was training with Liv and showing her how to break out of Shayna's submission finisher, the Carry Feud to Clutch, I believe it's called, which is awesome. And Liv is gonna fight for her life against Shayna, kind of like she did against Ronda. Though, granted, the Ronda match had time cut because of other matches going long. Um, Shayna said she's gonna rip off every limb that Liv's got. Liv said she's gonna rip Shayna's arm off. I think this goes either way. Um, my head is saying to go with Shayna. My gut's telling me to stick with Liv. So I'm going to take Liv Morgan to fucking retain that title. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, cool. So Liv Morgan retains. And then that leads us to the main event. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed Universal Championship. Now, a few things to say to go into this. Somebody got a picture of the ring yesterday, or got a picture sent to them, which from the angle that they shot, it looks like there's a trap door set up in the ring. And we know how, we know how a certain someone is when it comes to coming through trap doors. And no, I'm not talking about Cody Rhodes. um, Secondly, and I've had this thought for the last couple of days, I have a feeling, now maybe I'm wrong, Um, but I have a feeling that the Usos will send Sammy to go and make sure that Roman comes back with both belts. More so, Jimmy or Jay testing Sammy, because the Usos can't be there because of Jimmy's DUI from, I believe, 2020 or last year or something like that. Um, and he's gonna have to chase off Austin Theory, who tries to cash in his Money in the Bank title, or briefcase rather, for the title. And while Sammy's doing that, Bray Wyatt comes back. Bray Wyatt comes back through that trap door. He attacks Roman just past 2 years after Roman came back and attacked him. And this will allow Drew McIntyre to dethrone Roman Reigns and end his 2-year reign. And hopefully we will get Karrion Kross and Bray Wyatt stare down across the ring in the process. The thinking here is that Roman's been holding these belts for over 2 years. USA wants one of the titles back on their show, which makes sense. So I think we'll get around to that later. And furthermore, Theory, and again, it makes sense. It just does. Roman can come back later if he's gonna win one of the titles back. Fine. He doesn't have to go into WrestleMania next year with both belts if the plan is for him to face The Rock, because that match does not need the belts. But regardless, I do believe Drew McIntyre will walk out of Clash in the Castle as champion. So with that said, once again, McIntyre Morgan, Damage Control, Rollins, Gunther, Judgment Day. Those are my picks. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future videos and streams, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.